We'll call the meeting to order and begin. Okay. Are we ready?
Ready.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve today's agenda?
I move to approve today's agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign. The motion carries. Next, we'll have a motion for approval of the minutes of the October 9th meeting. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Oh, second, thank you. All in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. We have no new business today, so we'll get right to the old business. Now is that just calling for a motion?
Yes, the Civil Service Rules and Regulations update sections 3 and 4 were proposed to you at the last meeting. The redlined versions were given to you. I did not hear any feedback on those, so I would propose that we approve them as proposed at the last meeting.
Okay, do I have a motion then to approve them as presented?
I move to approve them as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Hearing none, the matter of the Civil Service Rules and Regulations is passed. Then we have the certification list.
Good morning, Commissioners. How's everyone today? I am pleased to present to you the certification process for Police Sergeant. It was a process that you all approved back in July, and we have come to culmination today. So, as you see there, the process was a three-component process. We started with the written exam, which was worth 45% of the overall scoring. The candidates had to pass the written exam with a score of 70% to move on. We then followed that with the assessment center, which that was a five-component process. One was a personal qualifications, where the candidates did present to their peers about their qualifications and their background to become a police sergeant. And then there were also four other components, responses to written scenarios that they had to respond to as they would respond as a police sergeant with the Davenport Police Department. And then we followed that with a final interview. It was a cross-departmental panel interview that culminated the process. So you can see that the layout, the scoring was 45, 45, and 10. We had 15 corporals apply for the process. 2 did not pass the written exam. 2 did not pass the assessment center component. That leaves us, if you do the math, 11, but there was no tied score for the certification list, which caps it at 10. So the lowest scoring candidate on the overall process was not included on the list of 10 you have in front of you. But we have a stellar list of 10 candidates, and in the coming weeks, one will be named the next sergeant of the police department. So, any questions on that process?
Any questions or comments? I have a question.
Yes,
Why
Mr.
is
Moore.
it limited to 10?
That is, I believe, a civil service rule. I can let Mallory.
Yep, that's actually identified in the state code. Chapter 400 says that on a promotional list, it's limited to 10. Except for in the case of a tie, then we can allow 11.
Okay. Anybody else? Any questions or comments? Okay, then, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. There we go. Okay, so our first one that we have is the sewer maintenance supervisor. This is an entry-level position in the sewer division of Public Works. We had a 30-70 split, so 30% for the written exam, 70% for the interview. All qualifying candidates were sent a background investigation invitation that they did complete and passed if they're on this list today. And there is the starting salary as well as the bargaining unit. So for this specific position, there are basic minimum qualifications that you had to have met. So at least 4 years of experience in municipal construction and maintenance work. And then you must also possess a Class B CDL with air brake and tanker endorsement. So that may have been a reason why, as you see in the next slide, why some people did not meet the minimum qualifications, okay, that had applied. So for this process, we had 18 applicants. 6 did not meet the minimum qualifications based on they may not have had the experience or the Class B endorsement. 12 candidates were in fact qualified and invited to take the written exam. 1 candidate just did not show up. We had 11 pass the written exam and then were invited to the interview process. And of all of those, we did have 1 person who passed the written exam decide to withdraw from the interview process at that point in time. Of those, we had 9 candidates of the 10 who came to the interview, passed the interview, and that's why today we have 9 on the certification list. Okay. Are there any questions about this process?
Anybody, questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, today's a big day for the Parks Division. We have 2 Parks positions here that we're going to review. So the first is the Parks Manager position. This is an entry-level position in the Parks Division of Parks and Recreation. Again, we have the same 30-70 split. All qualifying candidates sent a background investigation, and now we have the list that's ready to be certified today. So this is one that we had reviewed as a team, if you remember, maybe 2 meetings ago. So we had reviewed the minimum qualifications because we wanted to make sure that we didn't limit our applicants. So yes, they could have a bachelor's degree, but also we wanted to be true to those who had experience. So they may not have had a bachelor's degree, but at least they had the experience. So we took both types of candidates, okay? We do have some basic qualifications that we have to have them obtain within a 6-month period. So you'll notice like the pesticide applicator certification, the backflow certification, the certified pool operator certification. Those are certifications that our current parks manager, so we have 2, or we will have 2, our current parks manager already has that. So we simply just wanted to mirror that for this new person that's going to be coming in as well. So that way, if we do need to do any cross training, we're able to do that. All right. So let's talk about these statistics. It was a big process. We had 66 applicants. We had 31 that did not meet the minimum qualifications. So that means that maybe they didn't have a bachelor's degree and or they didn't have the experience, enough experience in Parks and Recreation. So out of the 66, 35 candidates were in fact qualified and invited to take that written exam. 8 candidates had withdrew from that process right from the beginning. 8 did not show for the test, and then we had 2 fail the test. So of that, 17 passed the written exam and were then invited to the interview component. 5 scored below the 70%, and that's a rule that we have here. So they scored below the 70% on the interview component, and then 1 withdrew from the interview process. So of that, we have 11 who passed the interview component as well as the background investigation, and today we have 11 on the certification list. And the statistics, it's quite a long list, so they are there in front of you. It's 2-sided, the statistics page, so if you want to take a look at that, you're welcome to, but we have that there as well.
Okay, any questions or comments on that one? You guys are easy. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so our next one, this was a pretty easy process as well, the lead horticulture technician. This was a promotional position within the Parks Division, so we currently have horticulture technicians. This was an advancement. And I say we lost because she retired after many years, so she was extremely knowledgeable, finally ready to retire. She put it in. Her last day was the 31st of October, I believe, so it was time to promote from within, so a great opportunity for our horticulture technicians. The exam was 100%, so you either pass the exam and get on the list or you don't. For this one, and we had 1 person who did pass, 1 person who did not pass. You have to pass with at least a 70%. So had that person passed with at least a 70%, we would have had 2 today. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but we do have 1 person on that list, and that is in front of you as well. So just some of the minimum qualifications that these horticulture technicians had to have had coming into this. They had 2-year degree in ornamental horticulture, floriculture, or they could have had an equivalent combination of training and experience. So again, you don't necessarily need to have the degree as long as you had the experience. We don't want to discriminate. We want to make sure that we're including everyone who has that knowledge. And then again, just making sure that they obtain the pesticide applicator certification during that probationary period, some of which our applicants actually already have had because of their years of experience. So again, today, 2 applicants applied. Both were qualified and invited to test. 1 passed the written exam, and that's why we have 1 on the certification list today.
Any questions about that? No? Okay. Thank you.
All right.
So next, we sign the list, look at the list.
Yes, we do need you to take a formal action on the record,
On
please.
the
Yep.
total, okay. Excuse me. Could I have a motion on approval of each of the positions presented? The motion would include all 4.
So moved.
Thank you.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any comments or conversation on this? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none, the matter passes. Thank you.
And Madam Chair, if you would like to adjourn the meeting, then we could pass these down and you could sign. Yep.
Okay, so gee, it looks like all I have to do today is ask for motions. Anybody have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn. the
Second.
meeting.
Second, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Okay, thank you, Ralph, for joining us. And so we consider the meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. We'll take care of those lists.
appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate you. Not everybody's receptive.
Oh, no, would be more than welcome, and like I said, if you just want to come see what we're all about, give us a call, we'll schedule a time, and you come do a ride along with us.
All right, great.
All right?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Have a good day, man.
You too.
Hello.
Hey,
Nice, easy one for you today.
it was.
Check the clock, it's like we're done now.
I know. I was like, oh, takes more time to prepare than.